Good morning. It's time to move the heifers again. I just saw one of the bulls breed one, so that's good. Hey ladies. Boy, she's got to be having hers pretty quick. Looks like we got one over here that likes to jump. We need to turn up the power. I'm giving her all she's got kept in. There's this year's heifer, and she's close. Number 19. We need to watch her. Not because we're going to aid her, but because I'm going to tag her baby, especially if it's a bull. Let's go, ladies. Let's go get you into the gamma grass. Yeah. You're in the wrong pasture. Yeah, that's why you look like that. Come on. Woo. Woo. These are the Mashona Angus heifers, or what I like to call the Mashangus. The red tags are last year's heifers and the pink tags are this year's. The Three Musketeers is who you see out here with them, the black bulls, and then Elvis is hopefully going to go with them here pretty quick. I'm monitoring his feet. He's having some feet problems, and I think that's probably my fault. However, if it is an issue, you know, we don't want him breeding. As good a bull as he is, and as great as he did in Texas, you know, this is Oklahoma, and things are different in Oklahoma. Things are different on my place. So I'll evaluate that, and if his feet don't kind of get a little bit better here, and I think they're having issues because of fescue, which is, we've got fescue here. So I'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's what we got. Attaboy. I hear some down there. I can see them through there. I can't tell which side of the fence they're on. I'm going to ease down there and take a look. Still kicking tail. I think they're on this side. They were probably over in the woods, which is good. We'll move them towards the water lot, see if they can't figure it out. What's up, ladies? What's up? They never do act like they know what's up. I seem to ask them that frequently. A lot of them, what's up is their head. You talking to me? Huh? What are you looking at me funny? Hey, give me a break. Get off of me. No, they're doing okay. There we go. Good girl,
musketeers. There's one of the other ones. That's old Caesar's offspring. You gave up, huh, buddy? Huh? Pink tag, one of this year's heifers. Another one.
Okay, I'm gonna make a last minute change on where I'm gonna put these, where I'm moving these cattle. I might stand up where I can see over this stuff. Those that don't know what we're looking at here, this is giant ragweed, and there's some bioweeds in here, right here, marsh elder, and then there's some cuckleburs in here, which they'll eat all of those with the marsh elder at some point. Well, hello there. But I need to move them out of here, and I've got some water issues that I got to deal with. And I was going to move them straight north, which I know y'all don't know anything about pastures and all that. But basically the summarization to why I'm making a change is that we're getting dry. You know, we're getting dry again, doggone it. You know, 20 inches in May and from May to June. And we're getting dry already. And so I'm really not wanting to skip any pastures right now. Woo! Because the more different pastures I can graze on this loop, on this rotation, the longer it's going to give the previous pastures a chance to get running. So that's kind of what you do when the growth rate has slowed. You too must slow in order to increase your rest before you get back. So we're going to move them through this gate right here, which we've never moved them this way through this gate. Woo! Come on. Oh. It's never good when you hit a tree. Unless you realize it. Woo! There we go. Got good litter coverage here. Hopefully that's keeping the soil temperature down a little bit compared to other places. Come on! Woo! Come on, ladies! Woo! Okay, she hasn't had hers yet. She's bred, heavy bred. I'm starting to look and see what cows I might be able to pull and go ahead and go to town with. She's bred, heavy bred. I had planned on doing it anyway because I kept all the heifers. Anytime I keep all the heifers, unless I'm down on my stocking rate, I try to get rid of half the cows as many heifers I kept. So if I kept 100 heifers, I want to try to get rid of 50 cows in order to maintain my stocking rate. These are my original, mostly Angus. You're going to see some Corianis in here, and you may see some Hereford crosses. But these are basically, 90+% Angus. Anytime that we start getting into a drought, this is the first herd that I look at as far as destocking. I'll want to look at my olds first. Then I'll go down to my dries, younger. And then I'll just keep whittling away until I get the number that I want. All the calves you see on these things are their half Mashona. So it just so happens it's getting dry, so I just may have to do it a little sooner than I was wanting to do. And there again, I'm looking at older cows, and by the time we get around close to the pens where we can sort some off, it'll probably be about right as far as if they've calved yet. Now some of them will still be bred. They'll probably be 30 days out or so as far as having a calf, but that's all right. They'll bring more money, and it's something that I want to do sooner rather than later. What do you say, little man? Yep, that's a little man. Isn't that funny how those little calves all just stacked right there? All they gotta do is walk a little bit further with their mama that way. Okay, we got them started real well. I'm gonna come back here and I've got one poly wire that's kind of holding them, splitting this pasture in half. And I'm gonna go fire it up, and then we'll go over and shut the water off where they were, where I was having an issue. Okay, so this is the tub we've had an issue with, and what happened was, if you don't know, this is our new setup with the PEX that comes over. This was our old setup on the tubs. They come up from underneath, the hole does. And when these tubs started failing, we switched to this new one so we could bring it in from the side real easily and move the tub as they waller out around the edge. And that can be when there's a rain, that can be if there's a float that busts off and that floods for one setting. Once that happens one time, they'll waller out around these edges, and then it starts holding water, and it just starts progressing, getting worse and worse. So what happened on this particular tub is it was one that we originally came up through the bottom. And so I had called the company, which I believe is Hayes, maybe. These are from Tractor Supply. Hastings, sorry, Hastings, right there. Anyway, asked them if they had a way to patch them, and they said yes, they used a way. They didn't necessarily make it, but they used some material that they used to patch it. And so I got some of that and tried it, and it worked real well, just setting it out and leaving it alone. But once you get it in the field, I've had 2 or 3 of them that I've done, and they all fail. So need to just go back to my original idea, which was to just use a bulkhead, which is it's a black piece of fittings that you use to go through the side of the tub or even come up through the bottom of the tub. That's what we use. And the reason these don't work very well on the bottom is because their bottoms are too flexible, and so they tend to, you know, move around on the pipe and fitting and up and down and squash down past the bulkhead. Anyway, so that's my next choice, is to use a bulkhead and try it, you know, with no pipe or anything in it, just a cap, and to seal that off. This time what I did for temporary is I just took the patch and slid it back over the hole. Then I hauled dirt in here with a shovel and just kind of built it up a little bit, and that seemed to hold while they're in here. So there's not a lot of pressure on it. It's low pressure, and so it got us by. So now I'm moving them out, and so we'll be able to address that. But definitely the patch material is not what you want to use. If you call Hastings, don't get the patch material if it's on the bottom. I don't know if it'll work better on the side because, well, even a cow may bump it on the side. I have issues with this spot constantly. And I think a lot of that is because these trees that are so close to the water tub. It's a nice cool spot. It gets a little breeze right through here, and it's in the shade. And so then they end up coming up here and hanging out at the water tub. It's real nice and close, and they can back to the shade. Well, let me go to the water tub for just a minute, but get back to the shade. And, you know, and then they run it over, and then, oh, now we can stand in this, and it just creates an issue. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get the skid steer at some point in here and come down here, and I'm going to cut all these trees and stack them. I'm going to cut every one of them that are within 100 yards of this setup. And that way, they'll stand under the shade way over there. And I'd be willing to bet, unless they're really thirsty, they're going to be too lazy to just make a walk over here just to stand for just a second and then walk back. So I think that'll help also. Anyway, the water is shut off. It's not running. That means all of it will be running to the tub I just moved them into, which is great. So there's move number 2 down for Saturday. And we're doing well, as Lisa would say.
We're doing good.
Hey, ladies. What do you say, girls? This advice, in case y'all haven't heard, is in courtesy of my cousin, as he was trying to pick his bulls out this year. He said, you know, you might want to get off the four-wheeler and walk around them a little bit. He's making a good point. So I've been doing it. Well, looky here. Hey, ladies. What do you know? What's up, girls? Another bull over there. Hey, girls, I need to walk up there to that grass and take a look. Here comes one. All right. Oh, they're coming off the hill over there. They sure think something's happening. Look at them bucking and pitching. You know, if we were growing fast, I would be moving them. But there again, the same philosophy holds for the heifers that I talked about with the cows. You know, we're slowing them down a little bit because the growth is slow. Slow growth, slow moves, more rest. So we're going to leave them. What do you say? What's that guy doing walking around? What is that? I'm sorry. You know, you notice most farmers and ranchers, when they get out with the animals, they talk a lot to the animals. That's because they're used to talking to them. There is nobody else here. See? It's just us and our animals. So I'm gonna just walk right up here. Hey, what do you say? Boy, that number red 18, boy, she's about to pop. She is about to pop. that's the bull. He says, I think there's somebody over here that needs to be checked. I kind of like doing this, TJ. Thank you for suggesting it. It's good for them too, that's for sure. Well, here we go, guys. Red tag 35. The first heifer with a brand new baby. She had it last night. Red tag 35. I'm saying that so I remember. I don't know if it's a bull or a heifer, but I sure would like to know. So I'm gonna leave here and get the rest of these ladies away from me. Yeah, who's next? Who's next? Oh, here they come. Oh, they are so funny. All right, we're gonna go up here. Anyway, they need to be moved today. Maybe we can get them to come up here on the hill. I hear lots of bawling over there at the fence. I'm gonna go over there and make sure that's not us. Make sure that's just a neighbor. What's the significance of number 35? Number 35 is going to be one of the elites because she had her first calf at 2. So what we're looking for and what most people look for that manage like us is they want what they call a 2+3 heifer. They're not all going to do that. Matter of fact, the minority of them will do that until maybe you continue to select and select and select like I'm fixing to talk about. So we've got a heifer, number 35 red tag, that had a calf. I don't know if it's a bull calf or a heifer calf. But she had it at age 2. So that's step 1 complete. So now what we need her to do is we need her to have another calf at age 3. And once she does that, then she is the elite of the elite in our operation, how we manage. And that's with no inputs. So it's very difficult for them to do it. A lot of it is our management. It would be easier if we managed a little better. But you know, it's hard. When you're managing chaos, it's hard to manage just perfect. And what I'm talking about is body condition. If we could keep them fat all the time, it would be a lot easier to push animals into that 2+3. But it's very difficult to do without any inputs. So when we find some that do that, especially if they have a bull calf, we'd like to select those bull calves to breed the herd again next year. What do you say? She's got one in her too. When are you going to have your baby? Please don't eat my shoe. So that's an exciting thing for us. But like I say, it's step one. We got another year before we can kind of see step two. Now, if it's a bull calf, I'll probably go ahead and keep it because, you know, it's step one. But the best will be step two. And she was very gentle also, which is a good thing. This little heifer here too is the same way, which most of them are. There's a handful that aren't. And I'm on my four-wheeler. I'm gonna go back to kind of what my cousin said. Get off your four-wheeler and stand there and get them used to you being on foot. And he's right. That's what happens when you're lazy, huh? Little red heifer right here. See, she's fixing domino. She's big as a barrel. So it's that time of year. I'm looking around. I can see several of them that are going to complete step one as long as they don't have any trouble having their babies, which they shouldn't. Because these babies coming out of here, oh, that's going to throw a wrench in it for me. They're going to be Mashona calves. Doggone it, I didn't think of that. So they're going to be 3/4 Mashona, 1/4 Angus. Okay, I won't want to keep those because they won't fit my composite. I won't want to keep those. Anyway, though, that's what we're shooting for. I hate to have to get rid of them, but I will because I won't want to do that. So anyway, though, that's what you're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what you should be trying to do if you're raising cattle. That's the goal. The goal is to convert the most dollars per acre on your ranch, your farm, whatever. And that's going to be done by managing your cost side of the equation and your income side of the equation. And since we're commercial, we're not interested in doing registered stuff and that kind of thing. We really focus on the cost side. And so we need animals to perform in our low cost, no cost management. Okay, well, that's all I got today. Hopefully that gives somebody an idea of what we're doing here. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but it's just what we're doing, that what's going to work good for us or work well for us. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time, and hopefully we'll have more babies and more rain.